So welcome to the basics course on share market, and this is lecture number 1A. And here in this course we will discuss everything about the basics of the share market. So let me first discuss that how this course will help you and for whom is this course designed for. So this course is for complete beginners who know absolutely nothing about the share market. And this course will give you a kickstart in your share market journey, as you will be aware of all the basic terminologies involved in the share market, like what type of orders you can place, how a company gets into the share market, how all are the ways in which you can earn money through the share market. So those things will be discussed. And as the name suggests, this is a basics course. So after completing this course, you will not be able to pick good stocks for the long term investment, nor you will start intraday trading to make quick money. For that you will require more knowledge, patience and hard work. Okay. So you can leverage the power of share market in two ways. Number one is that by picking stocks for the long term and investing in them for long term, for years, and leverage the power of compounding. Okay. And the second way in which you can leverage the power of share market is by trading. By trading, that is by quickly buying and selling of shares, or by buying and selling of derivatives, and thereby making money quickly. Now, when I say making money quickly, it doesn't actually refer to making money quickly, because in this world, I don't actually believe that anything called making money quick exists. In trading also, at first you will make losses, then you will come to break even, and after much experience, knowledge, skill, patience, and money management skills, then only you will be able to make some money from the market. And at the beginning you are bound to make losses in trading, so you will not make quick money. Okay. So people feel that they will come to trading and they will make money from day one and they will be like millionaires after day 30. So that is not true. And the people who make you dream about this are the people who will get themselves millionaires before you by selling this dream. Okay. So if you really wish to make the most of the share market, your journey begins now. And even if you do not wish to make a career in this field, like what I said, trading is a skill. It does require much knowledge, patience, and you need to invest some time in the market also. In other words, you need to see share market as a career. But if you do not wish to make share market a career also, but you can still benefit from the share market by investing in the long term. How? We will discuss it later in this course. Okay. If you do not wish to have much knowledge about the share market, if you do not wish to dig deep into the share market thing, and then also you can leverage the power of share market being focused in your own career. That too will do. So we will also discuss about it later in this course. Note that I am not a registered financial advisor, and this course is only and only for educational purpose and not for any kind of financial advice. So whenever I discuss names of any shares or I discuss any strategy, that doesn't mean that I am advising you to go and buy that share or to execute that strategy right away. The things which I will be discussing in this course are purely for educational purpose and I will tell you that you should do your own research before investing, or also you should inform your financial advisor before investing. With that being said, let's see what we will learn today. So we will first learn why should we choose investing over saving. Okay, and then we will learn why should we choose share market. Now in this video we will learn these two things only, and in the next video, that is lecture number 1B, we will learn that how does a company enter the share market, that is about the IPO market, and we will discuss it with a very interesting story. So I would recommend you watch that video also completely. Okay, let's begin today's journey. So why should we invest rather than saving? Okay, our pure middle class mentality says that whatever your income is, some percentage of it you must save. But nowadays people are very much aware of many things and they are prone to investing. But the actual reason is still, cloudy in their minds. So we should know the actual reason, that why should we invest. Before that, we should know about something which is called inflation. Now those who are from commerce background might know about this, but let me read about the boring definition first, and then I will make it interesting for you. So please don't leave the video, wait for it till I make it interesting for you. Inflation measures how much more expensive a set of goods and services has become over a certain period, usually a year. Now what does this sentence mean? Sorry. Well, this means, this actually tries to mean is that the purchasing power of money actually decreases with time. Well, this is not actually what inflation says. Inflation actually measures how much more expensive the products or the services become over a year. Okay, that implies that the purchasing power of money decreases with time. Okay, so this is a very recent screenshot that I took from Google, which says that inflation rose to around 7.44% during the month. And let me tell you that inflation in India fluctuates between 6% to 7%. That means a product priced at 100 rupees today will cost you around 107 rupees next year. Okay, now what does that mean? This means that what today's 100 rupees can buy you can't buy you the same thing 1 year later. That means the aukat, what we call in general language, of money in India is decreasing with time as its purchasing power is decreasing. So today's 100 rupees can buy you what the product priced at 100 rupees today, but it won't be able to buy you that thing 1 year later. Okay, so what happens when we save? When we save, our money remains stagnant and does not grow, and thus its purchasing power decreases. That means if you keep 1 lakh money, 1 lakh rupees with you, and keep it in your almirah or keep it in the bank in a current account where you don't get any interest whatsoever, and it does not grow with time, that means its purchasing power is decreasing with time. Okay, which is equivalent to saying that when our money is not growing for a long period of time, we are actually losing money but we don't feel it, as the amount of money remains the same. That 1 lakh rupees will still remain the 1 lakh rupees. It won't become 50,000, it won't become 90,000. So you won't see that you are actually losing money, but it is an abstract thing. You are actually losing money because it's the purchasing power of money is actually decreasing with time. So your money also has to grow, and at least at the rate of inflation, so that its purchasing power at least stays the same with time. So I hope the point which I am trying to make is understood. Now this is a very big problem, right? So if we save our money and keep our money stagnant, we are actually losing money. To solve this problem, we need to invest our savings so that it can beat inflation, and also it can create wealth. So this is the reason why we should invest rather than saving our money and keeping our money stagnant. So we got our first answer. Now we will need to search our second answer, that why should we choose share market as an instrument in which we should invest. Now the popular asset classes to invest are: number one, the fixed income instruments, which include banks fixed deposits, government bonds, corporate bonds, etc., which give you around 6 to 9%. And as the name suggests, these are fixed income instruments, so they give you a fixed rate of return. And as of recording this video, the fixed deposit rates are really going high, so you can opt for a fixed deposit if you really are willing to play it safe. Number two is the real estate market, where it gives you around 6 to 10%. Number three are the commodities like gold and silver, which give you around 5 to 8% and can go up to around 10% also. Now again, if you invest in sovereign gold bonds instead of gold, then you also get the interest of gold rate, and along with that you get an additional interest of 2.5%. And lastly, the equity or the share market, which gives you around 9 to 15%. Now all these percentages are calculated over the long term period and are all per annum basis. Okay, means these percentages are calculated per annum, okay, per year. So all the percentages are for the long term, that is minimum 10 years. So clearly we can see that equity or the share market has promised you to give the maximum returns. Okay, again there could be many contradictions here. Some people have generated more returns in other markets like real estate also, rather than equity. That depends upon their skill and expertise in their different kinds of fields they're in. So that depends upon the field you are in. But on a historical basis, and if I go with the average Nifty 50 stocks only, then equity market has promised to give you around 9 to 15%, and which is a very good percentage per annum basis to go with for the long term. Okay. Now if you have to note one thing here, is that anything in life which comes with more reward, there is more risk involved in it. So equity market does promise you to give the maximum returns, but it also comes with the maximum risk. Like in fixed income instruments, it comes with the least interest rate and it comes with the maximum safety. Okay, so if you are to protect your money, then I would say you go for fixed income instruments. But if you want to grow your money, then you come in the equity market. Okay, But if you choose fundamentally good stocks and hold them for years long, you will definitely benefit from it. Share market becomes easy in the long term game. Predicting the share market in the short term is very difficult, whereas predicting the share market in the long term becomes easy if you are predicting it in terms of fundamental analysis. And if you do fundamental analysis of good companies, you will be able to predict that they will do better in future. Okay. Like say for example Tata, say for example the Ambani's companies. We as Indians, we have a mentality that we are very loyal customers, right? A brand which we follow, we will follow that for the last breath of our life. Like if we take Tata Salt, we will take Tata Salt only, and we'll take that for generations. Okay. uh, but when it comes to investing, we panic. So if we trust in the company as customers, why can't we trust the company as investors? Because we don't have that mindset, and such mindset should be grown. Okay. But again, depending upon your risk appetite, allocate your savings wisely in different asset classes. Uh, Historically, equity market has proved to give the maximum returns. It's true, but that doesn't mean that you put all your savings, all your money into the equity market. There is a very popular saying in the investing arena is that don't put all your eggs in the same basket, which basically means is that you should not put all your money in the same market, or at least in the same sector. Okay, you should diversify. Okay, now you should diversify depending upon your risk appetite. Now this risk appetite thing is a little bit complicated because it depends upon a lot of things. A risk appetite of a 30-year-old is very different from the risk appetite of a 20-year-old. Again, a risk appetite of a 40-year-old person is very different from that of a 30-year-old person. So it depends upon individuals, and you should be able to understand what your risk appetite is. Depending upon that, you allocate your asset classes. Like for example, I give you an example of allocation. Say you can allocate 70% of your savings into equity market, 20% into fixed income, and 10% into commodities like gold. Okay. Now this allocation is for, I would say, for the people who are in their 20s, 25. Okay. Now for a 60-year-old man, for a 55 to 60-year-old man, the asset allocation could be the absolute opposite of it. Now their allocation should be maximum in the fixed income instruments and least in the share market. Okay. So if you want, I would definitely make a video on risk appetite and asset allocation. You can let me know in the comments. And this was it for this video, and in the next video of this playlist of basics of share market, I will discuss about how a company gets into the share market. And in that video, I will discuss a very interesting hypothetical story in which I will discuss about how investing in businesses actually works, and how does a business finally come into the share market through IPO. So I would request you watch that video also. So that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching.